Hi friends, this is Laura with Potpourri of Life. I hope you're having a great day. It is very warm here in New Hampshire, and if you start seeing water start dripping, it's there. There's no shower out here in the greenhouse. It is warm, but it's not only warm inside here, it's warm out beyond here. And so my husband had put a fan up there before, and that's what's on right now. And it's not really doing a lot, but you know what? It's moving the air, and I'm happy about that. So the last time I was out here, I had shared with you this dehydrator I bought. I'm really happy with it. I really am. And what I like best about it is using it with my herbs. And I like it much better than the dehydrator. I have another dehydrator. I'll explain why I'm using that today. But like this here is my bee balm, and it's drying. Can you hear? I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah. Hear the crisp? Because that's where the microphone is. But it's nice and crispy. So I'll be taking this in today. And what is some other stuff? I believe I had in here. This was, okay, it's a balm. It's a lemon balm. So I've got this going. And that's ready to come in. My parsley, I told you about. You want to see? Remember, did a haircut a week ago. I want to share with you what's going on with my parsley. See, I gave it a haircut last time, and this is what happened. So give your herbs haircuts. I call them haircuts. It's basically you're pruning your plants. The more you prune, the more they give back to you. So that's that, and then the other stuff is doing fine. Still, this is my volunteer eggplant. I don't see any fruit yet, but it's still a nice healthy plant. So what I did was when I went up to the farm stand today, and I got up early, I think we got up at about 5:30, so that we could leave at 6:30 because it's an hour and a half drive for us. And I don't go up there every week, nor every day, because that's a long drive considering the cost of gas. But there's some things that I want to get put up, and right now the farm stand has a lot of local produce coming in, where sometimes they get stuff. They might go down to Boston and get stuff, or Pennsylvania. Right now this is all local. So, and I've got peaches I'm very excited about, and there's some other things going on too. So that's why I made the trip, because there was things that I don't have a peach tree. I'm not growing zucchini, believe it or not. I only picked up 4 decent sized zucchinis because I plan on making zucchini chips for my husband. When I made them the last time, I've made them a couple times, and he has shared that he really likes them. There's no salt, there's no oil. A lot of people, that's how they make their zucchini chips. And when I did that, I didn't like how they came out, and they didn't stay well, and I'm not doing that. So I gave it another try, and I said, I'm not putting anything on this. And you know what? I only put them in the dehydrator for just a few hours, and they came out and they taste fabulous. They have the chip crunch that we're all looking for. And I asked him to try it, and he likes them. And that's all that matters to me. Pretty simple. So I just bought enough to make a batch, and I'm like kicking myself. It's like, I should have got more. But, you know, that's just the way it is. I have plenty of other things to do. My tomatoes are starting to come in. And I have to go out and pick them, because there's something, once they get ripe, if I don't get out there, somebody comes along and takes a nice chunk out of it. And I thought it was the tomato worm, and I think some of them have been bit by that. But this was something else that got it and sat on the ground, and it had a little brunch. So I'm starting to pick my own tomatoes a little bit earlier. I'm kind of bummed about that, but you know what? This is life. We have to do what we have to do. So I've got my mushrooms going. I'm going to be harvesting these herbs a little bit later and putting them in their jars that I want them in. Not going to be making any teas today at all. But what I am going to do, this is not from the farmer's market, but what I enjoy doing, because right now I don't have any lettuce growing, and I do need to plant some. And if they don't finish growing out here, I'll bring them in the house. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some microgreens. Now, I've got these trays when they were off Amazon, and they're a microgreen type tray. They come with a base, they come with a strainer type thing, and hold on, they come with covers. Let's see, I'm going to do carrots and radishes. I got my carrot cover, and there's another one here with, and radish. I've done these before, so I have little labels on them, so I just put them over. And I'm going to share with you how these work. If you've never done microgreens, this is really easy to do. Now, I'm going to change, oh, it looks like you can see me okay. But I'm going to change it just a little bit. What I've done before is I basically have taken a paper towel, cut it to size on this. But then I found that they actually sell papers to do this. So I picked them up. So I'm going to, and it's a nice batch. I forgot how much it was. It was just like, make my life easy so I don't have to use up the paper towels. And I think there was, let's see, there's 150 pieces. This will last me quite a while. So you just, it's almost as thin as newspaper print. So you put one in each one. You just kind of fit it in there. You're going to find that doing microgreens is easier than can be. All right. So you get the papers into the trays. So, and the paper is on the strain type, with the holes and stuff. So take these out for a moment and fill your green tray. I don't worry about that there's some residue that's in there from before. And I just fill this up. Okay, and it's not filled up too far. You want it just so where it touches the bottom. There we go. When it touches the bottom, I'm going to take this back out, it starts to get your paper wet. It needs just a little bit more. And there we go. So then you want to make sure your paper is wet, so you just spray it. A friend of mine, a Facebook friend of mine that I've been friends with for a long time, when I started with my sewing business, I was making a lot of doll clothes. And so one of these a few of my friends that are on Facebook are friends that I met through the doll community. And so she does this now. She actually makes memory bears. And I did replicas, specialty replicas and stuff. So this is all nice and wet. Great. Then we have what I chose. I chose to do carrots. So I've got some carrot seeds here. Let me see. So what I'm going to do is in one, I am going to fill this with carrot seeds. And what I do is I keep my seeds inside because I don't want the heat on them. That's just the way I prefer it. So I'll be taking these back in. And then on the other one, I have my microgreen radishes. It's purple radishes. And it's so pretty when it comes up because the stems and the radish greens, they have red and green. It's like burgundy. Now, some people fill it really full. My husband is not into microgreens like I am, and I just grab a few and throw it into my salad. So I don't fill these up as full as I could. But here, this one's easier because the radishes have a harder shell. But this is how full I have the carrots. Could I fill it fuller? Absolutely. And so you get that done. 2 more steps. Then you just spray those seeds. Every day I'm going to come out here, maybe twice a day because it's out in the greenhouse, and the heat from out here dries them. So we don't want to drown them, we just want to cover them. So this is the carrots, and we cover it like this. You put the little covers on. Now, do you need this fancy dancy thing? No. It's just, I like it that way. I'm going to get a cleaner one. And then we have the covers. And then what I do for the summertime is I take these and I carefully put them up on the shelf. And the water is moving about, so they're getting a little bit wetter. And I put them up here, and I am going to get, I didn't bring a big towel out because I will get a dark, let's see what I got here. What I want to do is protect them from the light. I got this from some packaging, and I throw this in my compost. When I need paper in it, I just take this and throw it in there with it. But for today, I'm going to put this right over that. In the house, in the wintertime, I put a towel over it. But this should do it because we're shading it. You keep it shaded until the microgreens start to show. I'm going to take this down. So in here, they will get the heat, but they have shade until those microgreens start coming up. And then it won't be long, just a few weeks. The carrots will show up first, like possibly in a week. I'll have the carrot microgreens, and you throw them on your salad, and it just adds a different flavor to it. I'm not putting the chopped carrots in it. I would put those in it along with other seeds and whatever else. And I do need to get out here and get some new lettuce started, but in the interim, I pick up an organic lettuce from someplace, and I did pick up a bunch of spinach today as well that I'm going to use in salads, but I'm also going to dehydrate some for smoothies, for drying into powder, for baking, whatever I decide to use the spinach powder for. But I also am going to be freezing some so that I can put it in stir fries or any other casserole type dishes. And if you know me, most of my casserole dishes do not contain gluten. So if you are gluten intolerant, be sure to watch for the recipes that come up on that. So I wanted this to be quick because it's really toasty warm out here, and the back of my neck is very, very wet, and I'm not thrilled with it. But that's part of life. And, actually, I was going to stop right there, but I wanted to share something. And it's because somebody said to me, they said, "This isn't fun." And I said, "What do you mean this isn't fun?" And he goes, "All this work." Okay. And I'm trying to understand the concept of something not being fun. I don't do this because it's like, woohoo, I get to go to the garden today. That's not what I do. You know what it is? It's fulfillment. It's satisfaction that I am going out. I water a plant. I took this out. This was a volunteer plant. And I took it out of the flowers and I repotted it, and there's growth. I'm hoping before the cold weather actually gets here, I will be able to get eggplant with this. If I don't, do you know what I did? I still allowed it to live, and I could possibly bring it in if I can get the lighting set up right inside the house. I've got cabbage growing. I can't wait for that to happen. I'm working with some cabbage inside. I made some, oh, sorry, brain fog. But what I wanted to say is, I think the enjoyment, any of us who do this, it's not because we're getting something for free. We're not. We're working our butts off. My amount is minute compared to many of the farmers, many of the YouTubers who are living on acres of land and doing things in massive amounts. There are some that I follow that grow enough for the whole family for the whole year, and they have huge gardens, larger than my property. But you know what? For me, my focus has been on herbs for a long time. And one of the things I've talked to my husband about is, like I said, because we were going to move a couple of years ago when all of a sudden the housing market went nuts. And we're kind of talking about it again, but we're trying to figure out the ins and outs of how to do that. You know, but I'm making the best of what we have. A little piece of property, you can still grow food. And yeah, I had to go to the farmer's market to pick up stuff that I don't have and that I'm not growing. Is it the end of the world? No, but it would be less costly if I was growing it all. So you see, we get out there, and those who do this more full time than I do, and I'm out here every day. I'm out here, my shirt is sopped. This is not something most people want to do, is be out in the heat, in sweat. Most people have jobs that are in air conditioning and they're comfortable. The outdoor people are your farmers, your contractors, the workers that are outside, your construction workers and stuff like that. They work in the heat. I think what it is we have satisfaction in the work that we do. Do we have disappointments? Yes, just like everybody else. In your jobs, there are disappointments in the things that we do. But you know what? When at the end of the summer, when all my bee balm, and right now I have a large honey jar full of it, and I keep bringing in more, at the end of this season, at the end of the fall, when I have harvested all my bee balm, I look at that jar and I have tea. I have a plant to use in different tea blends. For me, that is satisfaction. And so when the cold winter months come, I've got that. I've got lemon balm. I've got rosemary. I've got basil. These are things I don't have to purchase. And I've got tons of mint. And I grow mint around my house in an effort to keep rodents out. And we usually do pretty good. We had a short period where they somehow got in. We've never had mice in our house before, and we did have them, but we got rid of them. Haven't seen a sign of them since. But that's part of the reason I have mint all around my house. And so this winter, I'm going to bring some in pots to have downstairs, upstairs, and and I'll be putting them into lights. I'll do whatever I can to keep them going because I enjoy the scent of mint, and they apparently don't. So, we do all this work, and we do it because it's going to feed our family. It gives us a sense of pride. And ask yourself, do you have pride in the work that you do? I know with my sewing business, I took a lot of pride in the work that I did. And now that I'm focused on the garden, my garden is not perfect. I could have a few of the other YouTubers that I watch come out to here and they, now we need to fix this up. I expect that from them because you know what? I've grown tomatoes before. I've grown peppers here and there. And my zucchini has never done well, so I think that might be the reason I'm not growing any. I do have okra growing. Yeah, I've never had it before. So I'm going to try having some of that soon. And I just did one plant. And the reason I did one plant, I didn't want something that I might not like. Because an odd vegetable, most people are afraid to try something new. And I haven't seen okra in the stores, but it's big right now. So I said, I'm going to try this. So I'll show you when I make it how I'm doing. The white eggplant that I have, I never grew that before, and it is phenomenal. And I get quite a bit that I'm dehydrating some, so I have some as I go about. And there is a video that I shared when I made some eggplant, and I fried it in the fry pan. I think I used olive oil that day. But there's so much that you can accomplish even with, a deck on your apartment. One tomato plant might bring you some tomatoes to enjoy during a season. Now today, I have a lot of tomato plants out there. I think there's over 100, maybe 150 plants. I only planted about 50, maybe more. And I think the other day I said 100. I started out with 50, and then I planted more. And I just know that there's like 150, and some of them are crowded. But you know what? I'm getting plants everywhere. And the reason I have so many is not because I planted them. God planted them, because those are my volunteer tomatoes. And most of them are the cherry tomatoes, which are not my favorite. But you know what? You make something out of something that you didn't want. But today I did pick up some Roma tomatoes. And a little while later, I will be making something with the tomatoes from my garden. I pulled a pepper, and so I'm going to be doing something like that. And there's, as I say pepper, I forgot to buy peppers today. But I picked up some berries. I picked up a few things that are not in my garden. So, that being said, this is where I'm at. My dehydrator I shared with you before is doing great, and I really love it. This is the I'm going to say wormwood. It has another day. It smells great. And this is going to be used for medicinal reasons. And I will share those benefits another time. I have some nasturtiums in here. And that was a new flower for me this year as well. So you see, every year you can take what you have and you just do a little bit better. And I had some other plants that were dying. There's a plant over here. I don't know if you can see it with the purple flowers here. This here was dying. It was a hanging plant that my husband picked up for me. And it's that straw or whatever basket type thing. I don't like them because when they hang, all the water goes through and all the nutrients fall through, and you're watering all day long. So I told him I'm going to try to figure out or find some hanging pots that actually catch this, or I may end up putting something else in the bottom so that the nutrients stay with the plant. So you see, as much as I enjoy sharing with you what I've done, it's not huge. It's just me trying. Is it fun? It's fun when things work out. When things don't work out, it's disappointing. But you know what? You pick your, you put your shoes back on. You just pull your britches up and you just say, I'm going to try again. That's just life. You just keep on going. And part of the reason that this is really healthy for me, and it would be healthy for anybody, if you have stressors in your life or you have health conditions, you know what? Plant something. Tend to it like you care. Don't buy an African violet and just leave it there. You still need to water it. Don't buy an aloe vera plant and just leave it there. You still need to water it. And, those are easy plants, but you still need to watch them and water them from time to time. Having the satisfaction, like I have a huge aloe vera plant inside, and I have one here. I have a couple here. They were dying back. But what I do is I cut them off. And then what I do is I slice them down, and I'll share it in a video. I slice them down, I get all that goodness out, and I put it in a little Ziploc bag, throw them in the freezer. And it works for two things. First of all, you've got an ice remedy for if you get a cut, and you can just put it right on there. Also, as it melts, it's actually very, very healing. So if you get a burn, and I have other herbs and stuff too that can work great for burns, but you just got burnt from the stove or something. You take that and you start putting it over it while you get your other treatments together. And it's amazing what aloe vera does. So, you can buy it, but I like it right from the plant because I know nobody messed with it. Just me. I just watered it, and I made sure it got plenty of sun. So I hope that you take time to realize that farming, gardening, no matter how big, no matter how small, it's work. And it can be a joy if we choose to be a joy, but the work is nonstop. If you go away and you come back, you might find somebody who has eaten your tomato. I just went to the farm stand. I was gone for a few hours and it's like, you gotta be kidding. So I threw that tomato into the chickens and they were all, by the way, you can tell me what you want about tomatoes. I've heard good and bad and stuff like that. And the one thing that we have noticed, our chickens only eat what they want to eat, and usually it's healthy and it hasn't affected them. And yes, we give them plenty of grain, and so they're getting all the proper nutrients. But you know what? You give them the scraps. And I mean, you guys saw that video where I had some leftover kale and it was just getting really tossed. So I just put it in the bucket because it's good for them. And I'm going to restart some new kale. So take this and understand that I may not want to use the electricity to dehydrate mushrooms, but you know what? In a few hours, I'm going to have some shelf-stable mushrooms that I can put in with eggs or in with meatloaf. I can chop it down. I can do a lot of stuff with mushrooms, and it has a lot of different proteins and different nutrients in it. So that's why I do this stuff. And even though it's hard work, even though my back is sweating in this kind of temperature, and I used to be good about being in the heat, I can't like I used to. So it's work. Just like when you go to work and you have to do all that stuff and you're tired at the end of the day, we're all tired too. But it's pleasurable to know that we're doing something that helps our families. It helps us. For me, it's healing. And, you know, if we can share, great. And if we can sell some, that's even good too. So the world goes around when we all work together and we don't criticize people for trying something. And I'm really happy with what I've done. It's not as big as other farmers, but you know what? It's mine and I'm working it. And that's something to be proud of, and I am. So I hope that if you think that gardening is too much work and it's not fun, well, just do a plant. Get the satisfaction. Grow some herbs in your window and then make your own herbal tea. And then tell me, was it that hard to grow a few herbs? Because you know what? The next year you can grow an eggplant, or you can grow zucchini, or you can grow whatever. And you know what? If you get too many zucchini, there's tons of things that you can do with it. I didn't get zucchini. I'm upset about that. But I've been getting a few cucumbers, and I've been getting a few of this and that. But you know what I'm thankful for? Are the farmers that are doing things in mass production, because when I want something, I can go and get it, because I don't want anything from the grocery shelves right now. I've just had bad luck with what's out there, and I think it's probably getting better because it's summertime. But I just want to be proactive and make sure I have healthy food that is really tasty on our shelves, just so that we can have them as we go through the winter months. So I hope that you're doing something positive for your family. And even if you don't do this and you prefer to go shopping and stuff, I don't judge you on that. You know, my daughters, they don't have time for gardens. I did give some tomato plants to my grandson, and my daughter doesn't have time to tend to it. But she says, Mom, sometimes it dies back and sometimes it comes back too. And part of it is I do believe that God is watching out for each of us. She doesn't have time. And she, you know, these two very active boys, and she's right now getting prepared to get one into school and all that kind of stuff. So we need to understand everybody's own personal dynamics. And for myself, this is hard work, but I take joy in what I'm doing and the results that I'm having, with the disappointments as they come. But no, this isn't. It's fun when it's working, but I want to make it clear, this is work. The joy comes when you sow and then you harvest. That's where the joy is. And when God blesses you, then your heart is full. And that's the blessing. So I hope that you enjoyed at least the first part of the video. I know some of you kind of like feel like I'm lecturing, but you know, I just don't like being told that this is not fun. No, you're right. It's not fun. I mean, I'm not going to an amusement park when I go in my backyard, but I do enjoy what I'm doing. I like getting my hands in the dirt. So that is what's joyful for me. But more importantly, it's not a party. It is work that brings me fulfillment and joy. And I think if anything, isn't that what we want out of life, with our relationships, with our jobs, and with our hobbies? So anyways, I'm going in because it's a little tad warm. I hope you have a great afternoon and God bless you.